If they ask you when is the Malhama, say to them, I don't know. Don't say to them that when you hear the first blast, then you see the flash, and then you know it's the end. Say it's almost hidden after the first blast, maybe 15 or 17 years, no more. Because it's very poor scholarship in this age in which we live. When at this stage we are still not knowing and we are uncertain, it's very, very sad. Stay in the game. We'll soon, most of us, slip over to the next level, like when you're already dead. Go and visit your relatives before the Great War starts. Be nice to your wife. Don't put yourself in the question and answer seat every day. Retire soon. People will only see you as an old man, not even capable of caring for yourself. People will hate you, Sheikh, if you survive, because they will say in such a catastrophe, everything now said will go against you if you don't die in the Malhama or Armageddon. I mean, not to offend you, Sheikh, I love listening to your lectures, but don't expect to be rewarded later for being right, when almost everyone is dead. Keep about 2 weeks' food to survive, not more than that, because otherwise they'll kill you for your food. There's a flip side to every coin. This man is not a Muslim. He's a German. He's Christian. And this is his advice, yes. Our next question is from Bangladesh. He's a university student from the University of Dhaka. Incidentally, if you are in Trinidad and you want to call with a question, there will be a telephone number at the bottom of the screen. You can call at any time and I'll interrupt my answering of the questions which have come from abroad. So here's a question from Bangladesh. The hadith says that we must give bay'ah, or the oath of allegiance, to the Mahdi, even if we have to crawl over snow. Does this mean to literally go and give bay'ah, or oath of allegiance? In Akhir Zaman, if there is a haqq jihad, or a valid jihad, then what should those men do who are able to go to jihad and whose family members are dependent on us, and we have women in the family? Also, a few narrations report the believers in the end time will be around the Mahdi and around Jesus, Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Does this mean that Muslims in other parts of the world, like Southeast Asia or the Indian subcontinent, will be finished when the Malhama takes place? Sheikh, please include me in your prayers to Allah so that He makes me amongst His chosen servants. Well, first of all, the hadith about crawling over ice indicates no matter how difficult it may be, you must go and join the forces of the Mahdi, indicating that when the Mahdi comes, the world of Islam is supposed to support him and join with him in that fight, that struggle to liberate the Holy Land. No matter how difficult it may be, all Muslims must respond to the Mahdi, all able-bodied Muslims, meaning the men, and go and join him wherever in the world of Islam you may be, even if you have to crawl over ice. The United States of America cannot stop you, Britain cannot stop you, France cannot stop you, the Security Council of the United Nations cannot stop you, and most certainly no government and no armed forces of any government can stop you. You have to remove them all from your way, and all Muslims must go and join the Mahdi so that the struggle to liberate the Holy Land from this abomination which now holds control of the Holy Land will be successful. Now then, the other part of the question is, which are those parts of the world which will survive the coming nuclear war or the Armageddon? First of all, we know for certain that the Holy Land, where Israel is now located, and the Arab world around the Holy Land, oh yes, that will survive because Israel has to rule over the world. So there must be some part of the world which will survive the nuclear war. So the Arab world will survive. But we also know that the next event to take place after the nuclear war, the Malhama or the Armageddon, would be the conquest of Constantinople. You remember the hadith? The Prophet, this is a hadith in the Sunan of Abi Dawood, and the Prophet ﷺ is speaking to Mu'az ibn Jabal, his companion, and he's sitting very close to him. And he says to Mu'az that Umranu Bayt al-Maqdis, Kharabu Yatrib, Khuruj al-Malhama, Khuruj al-Malhama, Fathul Constantiniya, Fathul Constantiniya, Khuruj al-Dajjal. That when Jerusalem is built up and flourishing, center stage, then Medina will be in forlorn desolation. When Medina is in forlorn desolation, destroyed, then the Malhama will take place. When the Malhama takes place, or Armageddon, the next event will be the conquest of Constantinople, and then after that would be Dajjal or the Antichrist emerging in human form. If the conquest of Constantinople is to take place after the Malhama, remember that the Prophet has praised that army which will conquer Constantinople. So there has to be an army which will conquer Constantinople. And when Constantinople is conquered, the only military significance will be that the Bosphorus will now be free from NATO. So the Russian Navy can now pass through the Bosphorus into the Mediterranean. So this hadith indicates a number of things. That this part of the world will survive. The Arab world, up to Syria, up to Turkey. And it also indicates to us that Russia will survive the nuclear war. Maybe the European part of Russia will be destroyed, but the Asian part of Russia will survive. United States and Canada would be ashes, and Europe would be ashes. No one can survive in that part of the world. You may not die in the Malhama, but you cannot survive after that, because you won't have a land that is fit for people to live in. So North America and Europe, goodbye to you. Modern Western civilization, goodbye to you. We're not going to miss you, incidentally. Modern Western civilization has been the bloodiest civilization in all of history, committing the most heinous oppression of mankind and destroying religious way of life. This is what modern Western civilization has done. But Russia will survive, maybe the Asian part of Russia, and China will survive, because China is so vast, and Chinese probably have already moved their vital, what they need to survive, into the countryside. So that's the part of the world which will survive. I don't know about Asia. I'm not sure about most of Africa. I can't say. So whether Pakistan will survive or not, I don't know. This question is from France, it's from Paris, and he or she asks, when will the Third World War begin? Please let me know, because I have to prepare myself for it. Okay, Paris, my answer is, I do not know when it will begin, but I expect it will be soon. How soon? I do not know. Now then, let's go to the next question. It's from Canada. May Allah protect you and give you long and healthy life. You are to me the only great scholar left on earth. Oh, no, 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 no. May Allah grant you high place in Jannah. Ameen. I live in Canada. I've been listening to your lectures for many years. And what you were teaching about this haram paper money, about Rome, about the three phases of Dajjal, they make so much sense to me, and I'm amazed how unaware I was. I feel very angry when I see all the news of these terrorists killing people all over the world in the name of Islam. Islam is a religion of peace, and these terrorists are far from being Muslims. I wish the world could understand that. I have two questions. The first is, am I considered to be Gog and Magog, a member of the Zionist Alliance, if I live in their country? No. But if you live in a country in which the law declares that a man can marry another man and get a marriage certificate, then remember what Allah did to Sodom and Gomorrah. He destroyed them. And when he destroyed them in such a way to leave a warning to mankind. They were destroyed in such a way that they sank down to the lowest part of the earth. It's today called the Dead Sea. That's how low it is, the lowest part of the earth. That is Allah's anger with Sodom and Gomorrah, with homosexuality. The people who are waging war on the religious way of the life, and some of them are listening to me this Sunday morning, those who are waging war on the religious way of life, they defend individual rights. And they say, excuse me, that people must have the freedom to choose whatever sexual preferences they want. And you must respect their freedom. And so they defend the homosexual. And they say he has the right to be homosexual. And he has the right to marry another homosexual and so on. We say that the rights of the society supersede the rights of the individual. That you cannot have individual rights respected when that will cause the destruction of the social order. It will cause the collapse of the society. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, the society is collapsing. You can change the government and put this party or that party, it makes no difference. This country is collapsing, and it is collapsing because the rights of the individual supersede the rights of the society. So we say, no, the rights of the society come first. We have to protect and preserve the social order. And if in the process of protecting the social order we have to curb individual rights, we have the right to do it. And so if you live in a country in which a man can marry another man and get a marriage certificate, you're in the wrong place. Allah is going to destroy that country. And when it destroys that country, if you are there, you'll be destroyed with it. You are not a part of Gog and Magog, but you're in the wrong place. If Trinidad and Tobago decides tomorrow to have legislation to make it a law that a man can marry another man and get a marriage certificate, I'm out of this country. I go somewhere else to live. Okay? My second question, interest is haram, that is riba. And I learned that from you. It's a form of shirk, and I'm trying to get away from it by all means. But that's why I've refused to buy a house or a car if I can't buy it cash, or anything that involves interest. But in this country, to rent a house, I need a credit rate. And to have that, I need to at least have a credit card which involves interest. If I cut my credit card, if I remove my credit card, I may not be able to rent a place to live in with my children and wife. So by keeping that credit card, I can rent at least an apartment. Am I doing shirk? Deep in my heart, I don't want it, but I have no other option. My answer to you, my brother, if Canada forces me to keep a credit card, I would rather leave Canada than leave Islam. This is from Durban in South Africa. Excuse me. And Durban in South Africa has sent a warning of what Turkey is doing. The Turkish lira is under attack and is losing in value. So what the Turkish government is doing, and this has come from Martin Armstrong via armstrongeconomics.com, armstrongeconomics.com. And this email from Durban, South Africa tells us that the dwindling credit of Turkey and the significant decline in its currency has led to a new clever idea of confiscating gold with a smile. The Turkish Central Bank has come up with an idea of how to confiscate private gold while pretending that they are helping you to earn more money. Their objective is to make the private gold stocks of the citizens available to the financial system for themselves. But they need to sell this idea, market it to the people. So they're launching investment opportunities and asking the Turkish people to hand up their gold to the government for the sake of the country. The US government did that in 1933 to save the US dollar. But they did it by banning the use of gold. Turkey is afraid perhaps of following the American example of banning the use of gold and confiscating the gold from the people. So Turkey is using a different way, saying, hand up your gold, we're going to make it beneficial for you, we'll give you a return on your investment and so on. And the Turkish people, in order to support their government, are going to hand up their gold. You must not do that. My listening audience, my viewing audience, don't do that. Keep your gold with you. I said to you, we need to get the Christians and the Hindus and the Muslims to come together in an alliance. And the Jews are come together in an alliance to recognize that gold and silver coins is money in the religious way of life. And that every church and every temple, every Hindu temple, every Christian church, every synagogue, every masjid would start minting its own gold and silver coins. And people will be able to buy it with their paper money or whatever money you have, you can buy the gold and silver coins. And keep your gold and silver coins in order to protect yourself when the only money will be electronic money. Later on, we can start using gold and silver to buy and to sell. The next question is from Pakistan. Sheikh, I heard your last lecture on Trump's attack on Syria. Before going forward, I want to let you know I am from Pakistan. I can't agree with you more than this. And you actually endorse what I keep on telling my friend, that sooner or later the big war is going to take place in the Middle East, in Syria. And if the war takes place with a small conflict, it will become bigger, like fire in a dry jungle. Once the war starts in Syria, we Pakistani people should be ready for the big war as well, which will be waged by the Indian Zionists. Of course, Israel will be with them. He says that the best triangle in place at the moment is the triangle of Trump, Narendra Modi, and Benjamin Netanyahu. All three are against Muslims. In my religious point of view, Allah is unfolding the events for the end of the world. Well, yes, I agree with you that the Indian government is betraying the Hindu religion, that Benjamin Netanyahu is betraying the Jewish religion, but so too are all the leaders in the world of Islam. They are betraying the religion of Islam. Once the big war takes place, I believe that Pakistan will be attacked. I hope I'm wrong. I have been wrong in the past. You don't have to accept my view. No, you don't have to accept my view. You do not have to accept my view. If you're not comfortable with my views, there are so many other scholars out there. Imran Hosein is wrong. Go ahead and listen to somebody else. I believe that Pakistan will be attacked to be denuclearized, so that there will be no Muslim country with nuclear weapons. And once they denuclearize Pakistan, they'll break up Pakistan into bits and pieces. Once the Great War starts, that's the time for the Pakistani people to rise up, to wage a struggle, do or die, for restoring the Khilafah state. I have nothing more to say on that at this time. The next question is from Beirut in Lebanon, and we have a few minutes left. I live in Beirut, Lebanon. The reason behind this email to you, Sheikh, is to humbly draw your attention to a man who is unfortunately not with us any longer, but during his life, he was the president of the Library of Congress and was an avid researcher and writer. But what is special about him to us at this time is his writings about the Federal Reserve System. In the link below is a talk for him about that, including a description of money, interest-bearing money he calls it, which falls exactly on the spot of what I've learned from your talks. By the way, he does mention that God never intended money to be such and such, and he blames the Zionist bankers for what they have done with money. I would greatly appreciate if you could kindly confirm to me what you've received in this email. I promise to send you another email myself, properly introducing myself. I owe it to let you know, Sheikh, that learning about you and listening to your talks has given my life a new purpose. I know this sounds like a cliche, but no, I sincerely mean it word for word, with peace and a true love and admiration. Yes, there are many scholars. It is just our own Maulanas and Muftis and Shuyukh. They're the only ones who don't understand it. But so many other scholars who are not Muslims have recognized that the monetary system is bogus, it's fraudulent, it's haram. This one is from Sweden. And she says that I am a Catholic woman from Sweden. I wonder if you have heard about the prophetic message of true life in God. I think you should read it. I think Putin is going to be a great king from Russia. Best wishes from Sweden. Yes, I wish we had rulers in the world of Islam like Vladimir Putin of Russia. Putin puts Russia first. And Putin seeks to do what is good for Russia. If Pakistan had such a leader, they would kill him. Pakistan must always have a leader who puts Washington first, not Pakistan first. When will the Pakistani people have a ruler in Pakistan who will put Pakistan first and therefore put Islam first? Nothing. But Vladimir Putin puts Russia first. And in the process of putting Russia first, he's increasingly putting Orthodox Christianity first, and for that we honor him and we respect him. This one is from United States of America, from Chicago. We're running out of time. We have still so many more questions. I do agree with you that paper money is bogus, but as an American Muslim, how would I be able to use any halal currency for my day-to-day transactions? It's almost impossible. So my concern is, will I be held accountable? Or will my good deeds not be accepted? for being put in a situation where I'm unable to use any other currency for Hajj or even giving a homeless man money or any sort of charity except paper money? The answer is, a Muslim is supposed to search anywhere on Allah's earth where he can live as a Muslim. In Surah Al Imran of the Quran, the angels are taking people into the hellfire. Listen carefully to the Quran. So the angels stop and they ask the people who are being taken into the hellfire, Fima kuntum, what happened to you that you are in this state now going into the hellfire? And they reply and they say, Kunna mustada'afina fil ard. We were helpless. We could do nothing else. We're living in the United States, we're living in Canada, there was nothing else we could do. So we had to do this. Kunna mustada'afina fil ard. We were helpless in the land. And to this the angel then responded and said, Alam takun ardullahi wasi'ah fatuhajiru fiha. Was Allah's earth not wide, that you could have found somewhere else on Allah's earth where you could be faithful to Allah and His Messenger? Into the hellfire. Into the hellfire. So my sister in the United States, I know when a Pakistani leaves Pakistan to go to the United States, he believes he's gone to heaven, and Pakistan is hell. I would much prefer to live in Pakistan. Oh yes, I'd go back to Pakistan any day if I had the freedom to go, but I don't have the freedom because of the government that you have in Pakistan. I'd go back to Pakistan any day to live in Pakistan. I love to live in Pakistan. Oh yes, and I love the Pakistani naan, I tell you that. But there are those who believe Pakistan is hell and the United States is heaven. So they don't want to leave heaven to go back to hell. No, you must leave and go to some part of Allah's earth where you can remain faithful to Allah and His Messenger. Next one is from Constantine in Algeria. My dear Constantine, I love you, Constantine. Thank you very much for all of your efforts you provide in hoping that Allah will bless you and guide you in the right way and protect you in whatever you are. I hope that you've almost finished your last book on the Dajjal, because we're eager to read it and we read it to study it. I also want to tell you that we have all your books here in Constantine in electronic version, but we prefer to get them in the paper version, inshallah. Constantine, when they are published in French and in Arabic, you will get them. That's all from now. I have a question from Chennai in India, another one from a Pakistani in Saudi Arabia. I have two from Australia, one from Perth and one from Sydney, another one from Canada, another one from the United States of America. I have one from Netherlands, one from Kashmir. All of these questions still to be answered, but time is up. I look forward to seeing you, inshallah, in Barakpur this coming Saturday, Yawmus Sabt, at the time of Maghrib, when we will lecture on the Isra and Miraj. And then the following Saturday after that, it will be at the Hermitage Masjid, I think at the same time and the same topic on Isra and Miraj. Until then, thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.